Hi everyone, I'm Steve from RSM, and thank you for joining us at our latest instalment of our Coffee Conversation series. Today I have the pleasure to be joined by Kerryn Newton. Kerryn is the Chief Executive Officer of Directors Australia and has agreed to join us to share her insights. So Kerryn, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us. Perhaps before we get into the conversation, this is all around having a virtual coffee. Now we've finished lockdown. It's we can start doing those things face to face, but we're just continuing that theme. So maybe if I can ask you, what is your coffee of choice or drink of choice? What have you got this afternoon?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks very much for sharing a coffee with me, Steve. I really appreciate that. My coffee of choice is always the same, double shot skinny cappuccino.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. No, I'm a fan of the double shot as well, certainly in the mornings. Maybe in the afternoons it goes to a single shot. But that's great. So look, thanks again, Kerryn. Perhaps just to kick off, if you could share with us a little about yourself, a little bit about Kerryn Newton, just by way of background.
Yeah, look, thanks, Steve. I guess I've got a really eclectic background in some respects. Over my career, I've been a lawyer, I've been a university tutor, I've actually been a travel writer, an army officer, a policy advisor for the Queensland Parliament, an executive manager, and then over the last 11 years in particular, I've been a non-executive director, and I've also been the CEO of a governance advisory and non-executive director recruitment firm. So, a few careers sort of thrown into one sort of extended career, I guess.
Yeah, no, fantastic, and love the diversity as we've discussed historically. Perhaps just a little bit of a segue from the last point in terms of your role, your current role with Directors Australia as Chief Executive Officer. Could you tell us a little bit about Directors Australia and what you're looking to achieve there as well?
Yeah, thanks. So Directors Australia is really all about boards. We live and breathe boards, and we do that through board advisory services and non-executive director recruitment. So we're about helping boards perform their functions better, whether it's through board performance evaluations, looking at board composition, board processes, or finding the right people to sit around the boardroom table. And I guess if you've got boards that are performing well, then hopefully your organisations are performing well. So our sort of mantra is real governance, and by that we mean governance that has an impact and is tailored to an organisation. It's not just an off-the-shelf best practice sort of methodology thrown over the top, but it's real governance to help build great organisations, and we do that through incredible people, and they're people who sit around the boardroom table and who sit throughout organisations.
No, that's great, Kerryn. Can you tell us, and there must be, in the current environment, I mean, who would have thought, a few months ago that we'd be dealing in the middle of a global pandemic, and of course with what's happening right at the moment in Victoria, we're seeing potentially a second wave and another spike, and in terms of what constitutes uncertainty, I think it's the epitome of uncertainty. That brings with it, of course, challenges, and I know, in speaking from my perspective in our business, we've certainly had our fair share of challenges as well, and will continue to do so, no doubt. And I'm sure you have too. Would you mind sharing with us, some of the challenges that you at Directors Australia, or through maybe some of your other board roles too, you have had to experience, and how you've dealt with those challenges?
Yeah, I guess if I talk about sort of our company first, I mean, one of the benefits we had is when we went into basically a virtual mode, we were well set up for that. So we were well set up to deal with clients by Zoom and what have you, because that's how we run the business. But what we weren't set up to do was not meet boards face to face. And so in my role as CEO of a national organisation, I'm pretty much on a plane once a week, talking to boards, dealing with particular issues, interviewing candidates. And so that had to stop immediately. So that was a real change. It was a challenge in terms of, well, how are we going to achieve the same outcome when we can't meet face to face? And we had to use some of our existing tools in slightly different ways to be able to do that. So that internally, I guess, was the impact that we had. In terms of the clients that we deal with, so some of our clients, immediately retreated, had to focus on, their own business and their own sustainability, and that meant a fair bit of our work, particularly our face-to-face workshop type service streams, had to go on hold. So we had an immediate impact in that sort of March week where businesses closed, basically. So that was, I guess, like all businesses, a challenging period for us. However, we found that, we were able to continue to adapt and meet, I guess, clients' changing deadlines, and have been able to now get back on track most of that work. Some work still is difficult because it requires extensive face-to-face work, and we haven't been able to meet that yet. But I have to say, Steve, my cabin bag is gathering dust. I have not been on a plane since early March, and that's been very odd.
Yeah, no, it would be, and whether interesting to know whether your cabin bag will be used quite as much as it has been historically as well. Perhaps going forward, and maybe if I can, and you mentioned the word adapt, and I think it's a really good word in the context of what we have been going through and are going through, and that also means we're kind of looking for opportunities to do things differently. What opportunities, and maybe that's one of them, coming back to the cabin bag analogy, but what opportunities have you seen arise that you've been able to embrace in your own business and seen some of your clients perhaps embrace as well?
Yeah, I guess internally, and ironically, it's brought our team closer together. So, we're having more regular touchstones. I think we've been able to work on our professional development. This year was always a year of internal review for our business, where we had planned, and we still will be doing, and in fact, very soon we'll be announcing our new look and feel. So we've been working on a rebrand, a new website, a new CRM system. So there have been opportunities internally for us. I think for the clients we work with, many of them are going back to fundamental business model and strategic direction type discussions. I think many of them have also really had a reason to go back to what is the real underlying purpose and culture of their business, and some of them have been really challenged on that. So I think there's been various ways in which businesses now are adapting, resetting, refocusing, recalibrating, and because of the nature of our work, we're working with a lot of those businesses and helping them solve some of those issues and work through some of those issues.
Oh, that's fantastic, Kerryn. Look, really appreciate your candour and the opportunity to catch up in a virtual sense today. Again, taking time out of your own calendar. Look forward, of course, doing it in face-to-face before too long as well. But thank you so much once again, Kerryn. And look, for those of you watching, if you have heard anything from Kerryn that sparks your interest, feel free to get in touch, and I'm sure she can share further insights with you as well. So, Kerryn, thanks once again, and I certainly look forward to catching up face-to-face before too long.
Thank you, Steve. Always good to chat with you.
Thank you.